This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, good morning. This is Pascal, and this is Power Mondays Mastermind. So today I'm going to make sure we have a lot of good content. And so it's up to you guys to take some notes. It's going to be really, really good, at least in my opinion. So I'm just saying to you all up front, we are not going to be giving out this recording. This is going to be added to one of my training courses. And so that's one of the reasons why you're going to be able to get so much good content is because I'm going to be giving this out to my paid clients. So please take some notes. Let's get busy with this. We're gonna dive in deep, and I'm gonna let you guys know that if you follow what I'm teaching you in this training, you will be able to A, start building your businesses properly, and B, getting the funding that you want, both secured and unsecured, and then subsequently, I should say, corporate credit that is unsecured as well. All right. So let's get busy with this. So what we're going to start with is uh, welcome to Power Money Masterminds, everybody. And I want to say to you that we're going to start off with Fiverr. I've talked about Fiverr on multiple occasions. For those of you who are actually online, you can actually see my screen and see that I'm in Fiverr right now as we speak. So the reason I'm in Fiverr is because I wanted to show you guys some of the different people that you can hire on Fiverr to start getting a presence for your business, right? And this is going to be really, really important for you. So if you're trying to develop your business, the first thing that you got to know is that your business has to look like a real business. We've talked about that on dozens and dozens of calls, and the point is that a lot of you don't seem to catch that. Both my paid clients and my Power Money Mastermind family, you guys have to start understanding how important this is. So what I want you guys to understand is, so going after business lines of credit, which is credit that is granted to your business where you or somebody else involved in the business will be a guarantor, right? That is the fastest way that I know of to be able to start accumulating capital. And so that's why I'm so stuck on going after business lines of credit, credit cards initially, and then business lines of credit loans once you have enough capital to start making your business look like a business. Because as we all know, with business lines of credit, credit cards and credit cards in general, they are what? They are what? Everybody should know this answer. Anyone want to say anything? Okay, so but anyways, um, it is stated income. That's the answer that no one came up with. So with stated income, with credit cards, with business line of credit, credit cards, we're able to get more money because we can subsequently state that our income is higher than what it is at this very second, which is referred to as future casting. Okay, so I'm not telling you to go out and say I make $1 million a year or even $10 more than what you actually make, but let's think about this process here. And I've used this example over and over and over and over again. If this were January 1 and you were to say that, um, hey, I make $60,000 a year, and that's predicated or based upon the fact that you might have made $60,000 last year, well, then that is actually not true, right? Because it's January 1. And quite frankly, if you put down on an application in the middle of the year, it could be June or July, and you put down that you make $60,000. In actuality, that is not true either. That is assuming that you're going to make what you did last year. That is referred to in my world as future casting. And so that's why I like to go after business lines of credit, credit cards, and loans simply, well, loans not right away, but the credit cards because you can future cast to your benefit. So if you assume that you made or you know that $60,000 last year, Well, ideally, right? Ideally, why you could start assuming that you're going to make $100,000 this year, or 98,000. Whatever projection you believe is reasonable for you to make before the year is out. Does that make sense to you guys? So ideally, instead of continuously putting what you've been putting, you want to start future casting. You want to start looking at a brighter future for yourself and just start assuming, right? Because that's all you're doing when you're putting down a figure based upon what you did last year. So we want to start saying to ourselves, well, you know what, damn, I should be able to make an extra 30 grand this year, an extra 20 grand, an extra 10, whatever it is that you believe that you can make. You want to start pushing that figure or placing that figure on your applications. I'm not telling you to do that. I'm just suggesting to you, because that's what everybody in the business world does, is they assume what their future finances are going to be like, and then subsequently they put that down. And what that does for them is it expands their overall credit picture. Because if your debt to income ratio is tight, in what in most people's cases, it is tight, right? In most individuals' cases, your debt to income ratio is close to what you're making. So if you expand, by saying I make 20% more, instead of that 60, I make 93,700, or whatever your figure may be, right? What does that do for your credit file? It expands your overall credit file. Does that make sense to you guys? And if it doesn't, you really need to think about it, because it should be making sense to you. I'm making this as basic as humanly possible. So with this expansion of credit, it changes your overall debt to income ratio, which thus changes your ability to get more monies, right? To get funds. And that's what we're all about, is how do we get more funds in the door? And then also, as we already know, we have to keep our primary credit cards and store cards under 30% utilization, right? So all of these things are super important. I'm going to run through this because we've talked about this so much that you guys should understand this stuff. And so now that we've gotten some capital, we've gone out, we've gotten these various um, excuse me, business line of credit card loans. And then the next thing that we need to start doing is reinvesting in our business. And one of the things that we're going to do to reinvest in our business is find a small office space, even if it's shared office space. But no, I'm not big, excuse me, I'm not big on the whole what do these mega office centers, type of thing. I think that you can, go even today on Craigslist. Craigslist is nothing like what it used to be, but you can go on Craigslist and find people that have an office somewhere and will rent a desk to you for professional services. Okay, you don't even have to go there. And so we're going to move into why this is so important, because as you are developing and you have these business lines of credit cards, you want to start expanding your business overall, just like we've talked about expanding your credit overall. When you start expanding your business, there are certain things that you're going to need, one of which is a dedicated business phone. And you really want to have this dedicated business phone line. It's going to be very important in the long run. Now, honestly, for business lines of credit cards, I and most of my client base, we just use cell phones, right? Because, I can take that cell phone and I can get it listed out as a business number. And I'm going to show you guys how to do that. So, but if you're trying to do the bigger things, then what you may want to do is go to some place like Vonage. And I'm not saying that you have to use Vonage specifically, but Vonage works. So in Vonage is voice over IP. And the magic of Vonage is, so let's say your office address is 1772 Main Street. Well, you can start, promoting that, as your office space, and then you can take this Vonage number and you can literally connect it up at your home, right? And you can still utilize that Vonage phone number to list out to that address, even though, because it's voice over IP, right? It's all internet based. Um, you can list it out wherever you want, basically, and just say, okay, well, this is my business phone number. And with Vonage, it's a little bit more professional than a lot of the other services out there. So you're utilizing this, and then you take that number, that Vonage number, and you go. For those of you who are or who are on online, you can actually see what I'm doing. Well, I use Fiverr to do different things, like, so with Fiverr, they have services, and I'm going to click on one of the ones I've used in the past. They have services that will list
Good morning,
your information
Denise.
out to all of the directories. If somebody's making noise in the background, you need to stop. Okay, so with Fiverr, once again, so here's this guy, and it says build local citations and directory submissions up to 100 sites. So for $17, this person will list you out to 100 different 411 directories and citations. Okay, and so, and that's not the only one. And what I like to do is there's multiple places that I like to use that offer these type of services within here. So this guy, just so you know, if you wanted to choose to use him, is Services 97. Okay, so I use him. Let me go back here. Give me 1 second. Go to my orders real quick. Go down. So I also use another service called they would list you out to 130 different search engines, right? And the reason we do this is because we want to be found everywhere, everywhere. Does that make sense? So in order to grow your business, you're going to also want to get a matching domain name. I use GoDaddy for everything, including my hosting. So you're going to want to do this as well, whether you use GoDaddy or whoever you want to use. But you're going to want to get a little website up. It doesn't have to be anything spectacular, but what we're doing is laying foundation rapidly, okay? So you want to get a little website set up. It could be some BS website, but I don't like these companies like Wix and all this other stuff because they own your stuff. You want to own and control your stuff to be able to. So that's why I use GoDaddy. So with GoDaddy, my domain's through them, but I can transfer it wherever, do whatever. My website might be hosted on GoDaddy web hosting, but I can take that and place it anywhere. I don't want anyone controlling any of my stuff, and I damn sure don't want them advertising on my website. Like when you get like these basic free programs, oh, get a Wix, but it says Wix at the bottom. That is the most unprofessional looking crap ever, and we want to stay away from that. We want the businesses that we are going to be doing business with, institutions that we're going to be doing business with, to look at us as a professional company, right? And therefore give us their money. All right, so this other one that I use, this guy will add your website to 130 search engines for fast indexing, which simply means that they will, people get stuck in the fact that, are stuck in believing that there's just Yahoo, Bing. Uh, I'm sorry, I'm having a loss for words. The main one, Google. Good Lord. And all the, but there's actually a plethora of search engines. AT&T has a search engine. Just pick it. There's a world of search engines. Even Facebook, quite frankly, is a search engine. So you want to be listed and found everywhere. And the easiest way to do it is by, in my opinion, is going on Fiverr and having these people for very little money get your stuff listed out. So this person that will list your website, your domain, your URL, in my case, it's powermoneymasterminds.com, but you want them to list your information out everywhere. So that way, when a credit grantor goes to find you, you populate in many places. All right. So in the name of this particular person that I use is Alan Let's Go, and that's how you would find them on Fiverr. Alan Let's Go, all one word, on Fiverr, right? So, and they will list your stuff out to, as I just mentioned, 130 different search engines. So I use them, and this is what I do for my clients as well. I will take their information once we get them all set up, and I'll run through these lists of vendors that I use on Fiverr and get them placed everywhere, so that way they look like a real business. So in addition to that, I use another place called, let me go to them real quick. Okay, so here's another guy, and they will do citations. And citations are a bit different than the other stuff, right? Than just basic listings. So a citation is basically getting you listed in, as it says, in Google Maps, in Yahoo Maps, Bing Maps, AT&T, in all these different map aggregators. And so the power of that is, even though he's saying he's going to list you in 45 citations or map citations in this case, what that does for you is the larger ones are actually aggregators. And so all these other smaller places, excuse me, will pull from the larger ones. So because there's literally tens of thousands of various type of how to find you on map stuff. You know what I mean? And so these 45 that they list you in, a lot of them are aggregators once again, and the smaller places pull or buy their mapping information from these larger ones. And when that happens, you can be found more places. So if you're in Dallas, Texas, or outside of Dallas, or wherever you're going to say your office location is, what you're going to be able to do is be found everywhere. If somebody checks Foursquare, you're going to pop up. If somebody checks the yellow pages online, you're going to pop up. If somebody checks, I don't know, Google, you're going to pop up, or half a dozen other ones. I'm just having brain fade right now, but you get my point, right? And this is what we need to do in order to get monies, y'all. We need to be found everywhere, because when companies are serious about looking to give you money, especially more unsecured money for your business specifically, they will do a reverse search on your business. And in order to show up, you need to make sure that you're doing these things. Because if they do a reverse search on your business and you don't come up anywhere, then you're dead in the water, right? You got to look like a real business in every way, shape, or form, right? Especially when we move from going after business lines of credit cards, and subsequently business line of credit loans that we've talked about. And then you want to start getting into the corporate stuff. Well, you are going to have to make your business look like a real business at that point, because our whole objective is to have bomb ass personal credit, bomb ass business credit, and bomb ass corporate credit. Personal, business, and corporate in that order. Because with our personal credit being right, or someone else involved in our business has a good personal credit file, then we can start moving the needle towards the direction we want, right? So either you or somebody else involved in your business is going to need a good personal credit file. And then you're going to go after business lines of credit cards. This is the map I'm giving you guys. And then once you have some monies in the door, then you're going to start structuring your business overall, and you're going to start saying, okay, well, I have these business lines of credit cards. I need to start getting some documentation put together with my CPA, so on and so forth. I need to start getting some projections done. I need to start doing all these very things. And then I'm going to go after business line of credit loans, right? So then you're gonna start, going after the loans. Then after you go after those business line of credit loans, right, which require a guarantor, as just like the business line of credit cards do, then you will be put in a position where you will have that office set up. You'll have a dedicated phone line. You're going to have all the things that make you look like a real business functioning out in the world, because it's not like um, they're going to send out a team of investigators to knock on doors and do all this other stuff. If it's like an equipment loan, then they will pay somebody and send somebody out and make sure that you actually purchase the equipment with the monies that they gave you, or they will potentially recall the loan. Okay, but for other loans, if you have everything in check, if all that they are looking for comes up online, it's there and they can see it, they can Google your spot and say, use Google Earth and say, okay, well, here's the office, we can see that. Here's the this address, this phone number, everything is lining up, and they show up everywhere, so they must be in business. Once those things are looking right, y'all, then you can start getting good monies. All right, so I have uh, went through this here with you. Let's see, one quick thing. Let me look at my orders. So, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't give you this. This guy's name is Citation Guys, and that's how you would find them on Fiverr, Citation Guys. So you want to do all three of these. There's actually another one that I was using, and let me find them because they actually did more. Um, they actually did more. I'm not finding them in my sold stuff. Okay, excuse me. Okay, so let me move on because I'm not finding them. I think well, I have to go to view more orders, and I'm not doing all that. So the other thing that I want to tell you guys, so we know the importance of having, when we're moving forward. Now we've started with our personal credit being right, either yours or someone else involved in the business. Personal credit is looking really nice, which allows you to go after business lines of credit, which allows you then to subsequently start going after business lines of credit loans, which then allows you to subsequently start going after and building your corporate credit, right? So credit that is granted to your business where you nor anyone else has to be a guarantor for it, right? It's based purely on the good standing of the business and the business credit. Okay, so one, two, three, and so when we're in this third phase of building, what is it, right? The corporate credit. That's where we ultimately, want to end up. But in the beginning with corporate credit, as I teach all the time, it's trade credit. And what the hell is trade credit? Why do I want something from Quill or whatever? Does that make sense to you guys? It's just like, okay, what am I going to do with that crap? Well, if you are trying to expand yourself and really build your file overall, you are going to need, if you're trying to do all three across the board, you are going to need Quill, you are going to need Uline, you are going to need all of these different services. Now, even here on Fiverr, you can actually, there's a guy on Fiverr, a person, I don't know if it's a guy or a girl, but that you can actually use, and they will for a few dollars, you can pick up a little ebook on how to. Now you really don't need this, but you know on how to what companies to go after as far as basic um, corporate credit, right? So 30-day net stuff. That's really this guy's big niche. is telling you how to get on 30-day net stuff. So you can spend 30, how much does he charge? I think it's like 30 some odd dollars or something. But let's see, tier one, net 30 list. Okay, so he'll sell you a list for $10 up to $30, I believe. But here's what I'm going to do for you guys. I'm going to give you exactly what this guy is selling for 10 or 30 bucks, right? He should be selling this list for a lot more than that, but you know what? Everybody has their thing. So I really want to try to find this other thing for you guys because they give, I think it's like 250 places that they will list your business out to. And it's really a good look for, as far as I'm concerned. Give me 1 second, please, y'all. Hmm. You know what? I don't know why they're not showing my, oh, here we go. I'm sorry. I have to go to completed. So I have 192 orders completed. And so let me try to find some of this other SEO person. I mean, it's not really SEO. I hope you guys are taking notes because this will not be a recording for you guys to get later. Okay, here we go. Here's a guy who does 150 manual directory submissions. You can actually just look these people up on Fiverr, right? So, and they're going to do all this work for you. You know how long it would take you to do 150 directory submissions? And I like to do them back to back. And the reason I like to do multiple ones is because, you know, the facts are that it might not stick with one of the vendors that you're paying, and it may stick with another one. So I just want you guys to go to Fiverr and just start looking up directory submissions and citation submissions. Okay, very important. Let's see. Here's one. I think we went through this person already. Let me see real quick. It's not even letting me open it from this page. So, anyways, let me do this for you guys since we're talking about that. Get your pen and paper ready because I'm going to give you guys a bunch of places that you can use to start building your corporate credit. I pulled it up on the screen and I'm going to add even to this. This is part of my new book that I'm writing, which is going to also go for a new course. So some of you will be able to actually see some of my level 1 corporate and business credit starter vendors. But let me go read down this list for you real quick. Quell, office supplies, Granger, Gimpler, Suma Office, you know, so it's another office supply place. Strategic Networks, New Egg, Hardware Express, Uline, Supply Works, FedEx, Verizon, Sprint, T-Mobile. Let's see what else. Supply Hero, 4imprint. I already mentioned Granger, AT&T. The Supply Room, HD Supply. Because okay, so now we're going to move down to level 2. FedEx is on level 2 as well. Tech Depot, Rapid Forms, UPS, 1-800-Flowers, Aramark, DHL, Dell City. Let's see here. Let's see. National Pen, United States Plastic Corp, Crucial, S. Walter, Bags and Bows. Bags and Bows, that's an oldie but a goodie. Nebs. Net 15 reports. I'm sorry, Net 15. It reports to DNB. Z Battery is also Net 30. Deluxe, State Supply, which is a Net 30. McBee, Moser, And I think that's it for that listing. So those are all places that you can go to, and you can start doing what you should be doing, which is building out your corporate credit. Now, once again, it's what do you need it for other than doing the big expansion? Okay, that's the only thing that you need it for. If you're just going to do the business credit stuff, then of course you really don't need it. But if you're doing the if you say, you know what, my objective is to not just raise 50, 100,000, several hundred thousand. I want to go after millions of dollars, and I want to buy my vehicles. I want to buy my a business building or what have you. Well, then you're going to need your corporate credit as well as your business credit as well as your personal credit to be in check. And so that's why we're going through this process, and I'm giving you the roadmap right here, right now. I know I'm kind of running through it, but we only have an hour, so I just want you guys to take as much of this in and start. Please take notes, okay? So let me get out of here real quick, and this is actually parts of my new book that I just mentioned a moment ago that I will be putting out. So if there's any questions, you guys can put it in the chat box, and I will answer them if if they're not long-winded. Okay, so let's move on to the next thing. Let me go back here. Actually, I want to pull this up, which is my book cover. This is another thing that you guys can do on Fiverr. Get your graphic work done there. So this is my new book cover, and it's also the cover for my course, which is called Credit Building Masterclass. It's how to build from 100,000 to 1 million. The secret simple strategy to becoming credit wealthy. That's for those of you who can see it online, there it is. So back to this. We're trying to dive deep so you guys can get as much content as possible. One of the things I need you guys to any personal credit involved, all based by building up his corporation, which happens to be a couple of years old, is something that he had sent around. He was able to not only get this Sprinter van, but he was able to also get $40,000 in a loan given to his business, liquid cash, without any PG, without any guarantor whatsoever, all based on the good standing of his business. And so let me explain to you how that was done. In the simplest terms, you can go out and you can either add, trade lines to your business using UCC filings, which you guys can look up. It's basically UCC filings are when you say that your business is lending money to you, and then you're giving something in turn for it, like computers or a car or whatever, or vice versa. You've lent money to the business, and in order to have that report to the credit bureaus, you do a UCC filing, Universal Commercial Code filing, and what that will do for you is either way, whether it goes from the business to you or you to the business, it will then subsequently report, because the credit bureaus, be it business credit bureaus or personal, they're information backings, and they buy everything that state puts up, everything that they can find. They buy that information, then subsequently utilize it, either for you or against you. So with UCC filings, that is a way of creating large credit lines that will either show on your personal or show on your business. So it's up to you. So that is one way of doing it. The other way, which is much faster, is you can actually go out and find individuals that will sell you, just like with AUs, authorized user accounts, for your corporation. There are places that where you can go and they will sell you seasoned trade lines to go onto your personal, I'm sorry, onto your business credit file. And when those seasoned trade lines go onto your business credit file and you let them run their course, right? So they will say for $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, whatever the case may be, they will say, here you go. We're going to put these 3 different trade lines totaling maybe $150,000 onto your business credit file. And it will report to Experian business credit file and Equifax, which are really the 2 things that people are most concerned about. And then some of them will report to Dun & Bradstreet. So they will place these on your business. And the way they do it is they do it in such a manner that it starts off as a $100,000 loan, let's say, or a $150,000 loan. And then over time, they'll show it getting paid off. Make sense? So now you have these loans from these 3 different entities that are showing up on your business credit file that are high numbers, $150,000, and then get paid down to nothing. So therefore, when someone pulls your business credit file, what happens? They say, damn, this company must be awesome. Does that make sense to you guys? It is very similar to the same way that if I had a credit card and I added you on as an authorized user to my credit card, and when I did so, all of that history from that credit card goes onto your personal credit file. And once that happens, it's going to elevate your personal credit score. And if I keep that card in use, but keep it below 30%, number 1, and constantly pay it off, number 2, then it's going to continuously elevate your personal credit file. The same thing can be done with your corporation. So you can do it, with the UCC filings, where you create debt between either yourself and your business, or your business and, just the reverse, right? So either your business and you, or you and your business, you create that debt between the 2 of you. That is one way of doing it. Or you can actually go out and get with a company that offers adding these trade lines. Now, let's say you don't have that kind of money, then we go back to that list that I gave you earlier. You see how all this comes together, you guys? This is hugely important. If you pay these 30-day net stuff, so I'm going to give you a way of even doing the 30-day net stuff where it works for you to the extreme. So let's say that you were able to get something with Uline, and Uline is a 30-day net. In the beginning, I think the first order or 2, you have to pay it as soon as a COD, but you get to the 30-day net. As soon as you get that item, you need to pay it. Then you order something else, then you pay it. Then you order something else, then you pay it. And the reason you're going to do that is because it's going to reflect so positively on your corporate credit file and to whomever Uline is reporting to, Dun & Bradstreet, Experian Business. It's going to report so positively that it's going to push your credit score above 80, which in most business credit, corporate credit, it goes like from, let's just say, from 0 to 100. And so in the Dun & Bradstreet world, an 80 plus paydex score is what you're looking for. In the Experian Business world, an 80, I forgot what they call theirs, but an 80 score and above is what you're looking for. Equifax, same thing. anywhere between 10 and 20 points from the height of their scores is when you are in phenomenal position. And once you have that, what you will start to be able to do is to go out and start getting these vehicles without having any guarantor. You'll be able to go out and start getting monies without having any guarantor, right? So now, obviously, it is a seasoned corporation that you will need to do all this with, at least 2 years of seasoning, okay? But when you start with the program the way I had said to you earlier, personal credit first, business credit second, and then your corporate credit, you will have the money to sustain you throughout this process. And you will be able to build, 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 and build. And you will ultimately be able to get, if you so desire, to $1 million in assets, right? All because of starting with one thing, your personal credit looking right. Because we know once you have your personal credit, that is your foundation. Then you go after the business credit cards, then the business loans, then the corporate credit. Even if you have to start with the 30-day net stuff, then you move on from the 30-day net stuff to the longer term. Then you move on from that to if once your file is looking right, to being able to purchase vehicles and everything else completely unsecured by you or anything else. You see the magic of that. I mean, look, to go out and get a $55,000 van, I would say is very impressive. And I would say that, most individuals would have a hard time doing that with their personal credit. But to go out and be able to do that with your corporation with no guarantor is phenomenal. Because once again, most people to get a $50,000 vehicle would just not be able to do it. Are you guys grasping this? Okay, I hope you are. And I really hope you guys are taking notes. And if you're not, you know what? Shame on you. So I am going to, it's 9:43. So the other stuff that I'm just going to go over, because I'm really hitting you guys with a lot at one time, and I understand that. So what I want to do at this point in time is just kind of, if you guys have questions, you can speak up or put them in the chat. If not, I'm going to start reiterating some of the things I've already told you, because it's just so important. When you're going after, like, let's say, business lines of credit, one of the things that we forget is that we don't have to be in this all by ourselves. If you know of someone that has good credit, pull them into your team. Because, as I'm saying in my new book, it's you see all these people that are creating all this wealth and prosperity in their world, and a lot of them are doing it by utilizing tactics like what I'm giving you, but they don't do it by themselves. What they'll do is they'll say, well, I have these family members that have good credit, and I'm going to bring them in. And if I'm able to raise $250,000, then if I have 3 family members that are able to raise $250,000 apiece, right? That's $1 million right there. And honestly, if your credit is good, then you can raise $250,000 in just months. I would venture to say if your credit is really good, you can raise $250,000 in as little as 6 months. And so let's say if you had 3 other people that were able to do the same, that's $1 million raised in 6 months period. And so now let's say that you know a bunch of people that are entrepreneurial, but they don't have jack shit. They don't have anything to their name. They have, not the best credit, none of that stuff. Well, then you guys know that you can easily pay me $2,000, or to help you work with your credit and all that kind of stuff. Or you can go out and you know, get the stuff yourself and work on it. I mean, if you want to take that time, effort, and energy and the learning curve, then if you don't have 2 grand or whatever amount you find that someone else is charging, then do it your damn self. There's so much information out here, right now, that you can purchase for little of nothing and learn how to repair your personal credit and take action on your personal credit. It is ridiculous to say that you have bad credit now, right? Because the information is cheap and it is plentiful. So let's just say that you have, your cousin Bobby, your uncle Bob, your sister Margaret, and whomever else, and you say to them, "Hey, look, you guys, I know you don't have good credit, and I know you don't have any money to invest, but if I were to clean up your personal credit, would you be a credit partner in my businesses?" Why wouldn't they? If you are sincere and legit, then you can get them to invest in you as a credit partner. It would become advantageous for you to clean up their credit and add authorized user accounts. And if you need AUs, I know of a very reliable person who is a really good human being. This guy Marlon. He's also a guy who he's created $1 million plus himself in credit. Marlon, but through all 3 of the channels, right? So personal, business, and corporate. Marlon has literally created a $1 million plus in all 3. But in also, Marlon offers trade lines. Some of them are his own, and some of them, he gets from other places. So if you need to authorize user account trade lines, give me a call, 951-515-4728, and I can connect you with Marlon. So you guys, you got to get this stuff, because I'm so sincere that I believe that things are going to be changing. And I'm just going to say this over and over and over again, is that I would rather, if the economy collapses in this country or globally, I would rather have a whole bunch of somebody else's money in my pocket than have very little of my own. If everything went upside down and the economy just took the biggest dump ever, either just in this country or globally, I want to be positioned, and I want my tribe, my people on this call with me, right? Our Power Monday Masterminds community, I want us all to be positioned properly so that we can make it through whatever times come, good, bad, or indifferent. And these are the ways that you guys are going to be able to do that, in my opinion, obviously. I mean, there are 1,000 different ways to make it happen, but this is the way that I know and believe to work. So that's it. Look, it's very simple. And if no one has anything to say, then I'm gonna end this call a little bit early, because I need to go to the park and get my exercise in, and I have given up a wealth of information. So I'm going to end it. It's already 9:50 anyway. So if anybody has any questions, I will take the question.
Oh, don't.
Don't what?
Don't end the call early.
Why? Do you have anything to add? Do you have anything to ask?
No, I actually don't today, but definitely facts, definitely some golden information, and just like spot on. That's what I would like to add.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. And since I was asked so nicely not in the call today,
This is Pat. This is
hey
Pat
Pat.
Nash in Atlanta. You know me by Dallas most of the way. But I want to say I've been listening in, and I just want to say I appreciate you for I'm grateful to be part of the tribe, and I've been following you for a long time. So I just appreciate you sharing your knowledge. And is there a place to get your book?
It's not done yet. I'm working on it.
Okay.
As a matter of fact,
You're doing pre-sales?
I am not, because in
What?
actuality, this book um, is going to be part of my new course,
Okay.
and
I
I'm
remember that.
just it's literally going to, you know, it's just going to be part of the course. It's literally just giving you guys every single thing that you can think of as far as personal, business, corporate, and I'm even going to put a section in here on UCC filings, so that for those who want to, you know, do that step of creating their
Okay,
own
cool.
Pascal,
trade lines, you'll
Pascal,
be able to do that. Yes.
Pascal, I want to be the first online. Yeah.
Absolutely,
Well, yeah.
sir.
Well. Let me tell you something, my friend. People don't know what you just said. You know, if they only knew what you just said it with this training, they would be go bananas, because this is awesome. That is the info that no one's really shared but you. So come in, please. I want to be number one. I want to get that stuff, and that's a fabulous info. I know for a fact. This is not a storyteller. This is not a wasting time. This is the real deal. So people, if you hear me, what I'm saying, get in line, because Pascal he said everything. No, like the email that he sent said no BS. This is what it is, and it is what it is. So it's
Well,
gonna be
thank
your
you, sir.
fault if you miss the train.
Yes.
Thank
And
you, Pascal.
thank you. Thank you, Pat. Oh, that was Franco. Thank you, Pat. Thank you, Tilandra. Um, you know what,
My
man? You
pleasure.
guys didn't talk long enough, because I thought you guys were gonna eat up that extra 10 minutes of time. And you guys ate up 3 minutes. Somebody else
But
needs to
it's so spot on. It's because it's so spot on. We're just ready to go to work. At this point,
Yeah,
we're just ready to
we're
go to
taking
work and
notes.
get on it.
So, question for you though.
Yes, ma'am.
With you helping all of these people, are you going to have a site where maybe testimonials? Because I know for me, that's a big deal. You know, I trust you, like just sharing with people that you can get this job done for them, like testimonial sites with people, even if it's just their first name, saying, hey, you know, I was able to get this, like the things that you're sharing, the gentleman who was able to get his truck and all the things without his credit, just a site that you can share so people who don't know you or haven't, you know, really checked into what you can do will have uh, those testimonials, those third-party verifications um, that they can attest to, you know, the power of using the system.
Well, in actuality, my site, I've been somewhat neglectful. Sean, who's my webmaster, has been quite busy, because he doesn't work just for me. He works for a lot of companies that pay him a lot more money than I do. And uh, long story short is, I have a website that Sean has put up, which is my name, pascalmansell.com. But it's still in, as you see, if anybody goes to pascalmansell.com, the site is up basically, but there's somebody else's picture on there, which is just a placeholder. And then some of the verbiage and all that stuff needs to be checked, worked with, and content has to be added. Um, but the basic site is up, and that's where everything will be. My podcasts, my testimonials, everything will be um, found, on pascalmansell.com.
Okay, great.
That's where it will be, Pat. So I want to ask you guys the information, and I'm not just trying to get like some fake BS pats on my back or anything of that nature, but I want to ask you guys seriously, the information, the content that you guys got this morning, you know, what do you think about it? Okay.
What do we think about the information you're
like
sharing? Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
like I said, Pascal. I mean, people don't have no idea with what you share with us, and really, it is. I mean, that's the path for people to get themselves into great business. We're not talking about peanuts here. We're talking like you really have arrived into a small business. Well, you do know that a small business for a bank means $100 million, right? So, yeah. So what it is just this is just the beginning, the beginning. But I mean, it takes time. It doesn't develop in one day. I know that for a fact. Like to build business, it takes about, I would say, easy a year, but doing a lot of work. It's, because they think it's not a scheme, it's a real thing, how to do it. And you just put the easy way, more than, I would say the easy way how to do it, how for you to get finance. Because if you try to go the other way, there's no way you're going to get finance. That's a fact. When you have tried to do business and people have tried, they will know that, bank won't give you no money. And then, but you just been putting a system that really will help people to get money. And now you just, say this part of the corporate business. Come on, what else can it be there? You know what I mean? Because what you're doing the pie, but you sharing the pie with everybody, and that's the part that we have to understand. So because I know I have knowledge of what you were saying, and I know the market you're touching. I know that's the way to do it. So thank you very much for sharing with all of us. I really appreciate
Thank you,
it.
sir. Thank you for the love. You know, because everybody needs love. I don't want mine when I'm in a grave. I want my love now.
You got it, sir. You got it.
So
Yes.
I want to acknowledge somebody who's always on the call, always on the call. I don't if he's missed any of the last 30 plus calls we've had, it's probably been one. And this gentleman's name is Alan, and he's at work, so he listens in at work, so he can only chime in on the chat. But Alan always shows love and always gives big props for the information. And I'm just going to tell you guys that because I'm human, it's really important because everybody, I don't give a crap what you're doing. We all want to know that we're providing. At least I would think that we all want to know that we're providing a service of value because that is very important. So with that said, thank you guys for coming on the call, and I'm just so very grateful. And once again, my website, Pascal Mansell, is up, but it's not done.
Thank you, Pascal.
You're welcome. Hey, Dr. B.
Hey, I'm at the doctor's office, so I wanted to come in and just say I really appreciate you. Hi, all, and keep doing the good things you're doing.
Thank you, Dr. B. The Dr. B is my we text one another back and forth quite a bit, and it's all love. It's good stuff. It's like you have your folks that you text with and and pass ideas with and chit chat with, so it's really a good look. Really a good look, and I'm very appreciative of it. So anyways, y'all, thank you so very much. And this call is over. It is 10 o'clock. And I really, truly hope that you guys have gotten value from the things that we talked about today. Everything that I've given you is usable, actionable knowledge, right? And I just think that you guys would be doing yourself a disservice if you don't utilize this knowledge. All right. Take care, everybody. And thank you to the Power Money Mastermind tribe. You guys are freaking awesome. All right. Take care. Be well.
Thank you.
Thank you.